move in a to and fro movement. So let's 100 velocity and simulate it is moving to and fro. So this is the basic introduction from the previous class. If anybody is missing something, please contact Anirban and Akash. They might help you. And if you didn't get anything else from there, so you can directly reach out to me. So now I'm starting directly to a new class. I'm introducing to a new class, which one is character class. Okay, guys. So let's start fresh from the character
Sir,
class. Yeah.
sir, even Saket is waiting in the room.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
One more guy, Saket was waiting in the waiting room. Just ask him to give permission.
Yeah, Aman, can you just ping in the WhatsApp group to Manohar? He's the one, or I think Anirban can access it right now.
No, I didn't have the access.
Okay, you have to ping into.
Yeah, fine, fine, I'll do that, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Aman.
Okay, so shall we start them or anybody else is connecting?
I think you can start for now. The people
Okay.
will follow it later. And yeah, guys, I think this is it's going to be intense from now on. So we suggest you to follow it with us. If you're stuck somewhere, just let us know. We will help you out. Yeah, but be active from now because after this is going to be complicated. Am I right, Darshan?
Yes, somehow. Okay,
I
so
find it difficult. And I
so
think Darshan, start with the new project. I think that's the best one if you
I think
have.
this project will help them because there is already a blueprint character over here, so I can explain them with this graph so they can understand easily. I mean, anybody can create with the start with the new project, but I am using this one to start along with some
Okay.
basics.
I think you are the expert.
Okay, so guys, now we are moving into a uh, I mean very common class, which one is character class, and this class is going to be used in any game. Okay, actor and character, these classes are going to be used in any game. So now we will be creating a class and which will be controlled by our keyboard, mouse, or something like that. So we'll be creating a character class, and we will find out how these are link up, how we can bind our keyboard, and how we can control the character. What are the different classes aligned with the character class, and how to I mean, I've already showed you we are adding components from the blueprint, but I will show you how to add component from the C++, how to add different camera component, different spring arm components to the class, and yeah, we'll learn more about character controllers as well. So let's start. So first of all, I'll show you. As you can see over here, there are different classes. We have learned about actor class as of now, and then a pawn class. A pawn class is nothing that can be possessed. Okay, possessed in the sense you can possess this class and you can control according to yourself. It can be possessed by a controller. It may be a AI controller or maybe a player controller. Player control is something that we are using to control. We are uh, uh, we are giving the input and it is controlled by the uh, player itself. So this is the pawn class. So pawn class is a parent of character class, you can say. Okay, it is derived from pawn class. A character class is derived from a pawn class. So it means it has all the capabilities to possess and receive input from the controller. But what does the character class have? It is a special class that has a pawn has the ability to work around. It's simply written over here. You can see we can use this character. There are some pre-made functions. We can there are pre-made attachment over here, such as the camera and all. So we can use those components and use our and script our own character class, and we can move around in a scene. We can bind the character with that controller. So controller is nothing but a player controller. So all these things, all these three classes linked uh, mm, are linked completely. So a character class is controlled by a player controller. So you can simply write down the control setting from a player controller class, or you can also use the character class. You can write along in this character class. So we'll be learning more detail in the for the character class. So we don't need to create a pawn class. So because the pawn is the parent of character class, we can use the inherited ones, so that we can use the character to move around. Okay, so let's start with the character class. Before that, I will show you something. So if you move down and check out in the project settings, and in the engine one, you can find an input settings over here. Okay, so all the input bindings are done from here. Okay, there are two varieties of input bindings. Okay, one is action binding, action mapping, and another one is axis mapping. Axis is something that holds on a float value. Okay, something like move forward, move right, mouse up and down. All these things are managed by the axis mapping. And the action mapping is something that you are commanding it to be done. Something like jump or attack, or something like any command, play any specific animation, anything you want. So you can deal all these things from the action mapping, and from the axis mapping you can deal with the moving forward, moving right, turn right, turn. So you can deal with all these things. So we have initially we have created a project from a third person template, so you guys can find all this pre-made things over here. You can find all this input mapping already present in here. So if you don't have those mappings, so you have to create your own for your own character, right? So we can use those input mapping as of now. You can create any mapping such as move right again. Okay, and select select any key you want to bind with them, from the mouse, from the gamepad, or something like that. You can bind with any controller, any keyboard, something like that. So you can bind any from anywhere you want. So first of all, there is a move right one. So move right can hold W and S. W is for move forward and S is for backward. So what does it do? W is move forward, holds an axis mapping action, and W having a scale of 1. And the alternative, if you want to move backward, so it's completely the opposite one. So for the S value, we have assigned -1. So similarly for the move left, right, left and right. So A is left one, so we have -1, and D is right one. We have moving right on that direction. So you can set it to D. D as 1 and A as -1. Okay. So similarly, turn right. This one is this one is used for the game pads. I will explain this later. You can use this for turning your gamepad on the x-axis, or for moving the gamepad, moving the scene, moving the camera. But if you are using mouse, then you can use this one for turn and look up, look up, turn and look up. You can use those things. Turn is taking mouse X, and lookup is using mouse Y, and it's in -1 axis. So we'll be scripting all these things in the C++. Before that, I will be showing you how does these things work in the blueprint one. So how they are dealing with the, you can see the blueprint is inherited from a character one. So
So,
you can,
hello.
hello.
Yeah, like what is the scale? Like what is this be used for? Like we don't. I don't think so. I've used it anywhere. That's why
So
scale.
scale is nothing but I will be explaining how this things is working in here. Okay,
Oh,
so if you are if you click on W, right?
Hmm.
So you are moving forward. Okay. So what does this thing do is setting the scale to 1. And then if you are clicking on as, it is setting the value as -1. So we don't have to create multiple action mappings. We just have to create one input mapping so that it can help us to move forward and backward. Okay, so you have to what does this thing do? We have, let's assume that we have, first of all, we have our move forward, right? What it's handling over here, it's handling W and S. W is for forward direction, which one is scale 1, and S is for -1. Okay, you have
Hmm.
to every time you have to use those axis mapping only for movement purposes, such as move forward, left, and mouse control, nothing else. You are not gonna use anywhere else regarding from this in this from this scenario. You can use action mapping for other inputs as well. So you can use axis mapping for the movement. So what's happening over here is in the move forward we have W and having a scale of 1. Okay, so what does this
Uh,
detect?
I think I can explain you in a very simpler way. Okay.
Okay.
So, uh, in any coordinate system, okay, that is nothing, the scale is nothing but the units. Okay. So
Okay.
we by default we want to use whatever the value we give, that's the same amount of thing we should get it. It's technically multiply with the whatever you give the value with it. Okay. So it's kind of a default variations. You can say the default one. Okay, if you keep 500, it will be multi. Suppose your speed is 600. Okay, if the scale is 10, it will be 10 times faster. Okay, that same value.
Okay.
So so we
Huh.
can control the things with that. Okay. So technically, scale is representing the grid system of any our environment. Okay. So suppose if you give one, how much value you want to multiply with it, so that it gives you something. Okay, it's up to you to choose it, but by default, because most of the things we control inside a game with the coding with our variables, that's the main reason we just use the default value as 1 and -1 to reflect it inside our game.
Okay, so like the if I press A, then it will go to -1. It won't go above
Yeah.
it. Like, what is the default value? Is it zero or zero
See,
to negative?
technically, see, technically, what happens? Okay,
If you create
Darshan,
if you create
Show that particular code for third person
yeah, I will be
character.
showing it.
Yeah, just show it in no, so that I can explain him.
So what does
Uh,
this thing do? I will be explaining in a very layman term. So, uh, uh, what does this thing do? The value is defining the, I mean, the sum of each of the states. Like if you are pressing W and S at a time. So what does this thing do? Is it taking the scale value of 1 and S as -1, and then it's
I
creating.
think Darshan's voice is breaking for everyone of just for me.
Is it
It's
breaking?
not breaking for me. I don't
Okay,
know.
I think then it's just for me. Continue, Darshan.
Okay, so what does this thing do is that when you if you are trying to bind with the action mapping is nothing but for a specific button, you have to script the specific action for them. Okay, so in the axis mapping, what we have more detailed thing is that if you click on W,
If I click on W, will it give me my
sorry,
one? Right, that's it.
See,
yes,
it will give
will
you one, but
it will
technically,
give.
whatever the speed you give to him, okay, it will
Hmm.
multiply with that.
If
Okay,
you
the
are
scale
clicking
is
on
multiplied with the given value.
if you are clicking on one, I mean W, this one is W, and you click on S at a time. Okay, so S value is -1. If you add both of them, you will get a zero value. So you won't move forward, right? if there is a zero value, it's the all the scale is depend upon the I mean, if you are moving forward, then we have a value of scale value of 1, and if you are moving backward, a scale value of -1. So if you bind all these settings in the action mapping, you won't have the capability to deal with this kind of situation, input buffer kind of situation. So to handle all those situation, you have this scaled value. So scaled value have only the default value of the scale is +1. Okay, so so in this situation, so we can use that +1 as a forward, and the -1 as a the opposite of forward. Okay, so we can use, so for in this case, let me show you the script so you can understand a little bit. So what we are doing over here, just ignore all those things below. These are all another input bindings, right? So we have only W and S over here for move forward. You not for moving. You can say that for moving. Okay, don't confuse on the nomenclature. So we have moving. So we have W and S over here. So let's find out. We bind the keys for scale 1 it is W, and scale -1 is S. Okay, then what we are doing, we are getting that input action, so we can just simply search the,
Darshan, Darshan,
yeah,
just reverse the scale. People will understand in a better way. Just show them what they do. I think that's a perfect way.
yes.
I think reverse the thing over there. They will understand that if you reverse it, W will act as back button.
So let's reverse with the scale, right? So we have
Okay.
changed the scale. Now if I am playing, and if I play if I press W, it is moving backward, and if I press S, it is moving forward.
Okay.
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 Technically, it multiplies with the number whatever you give it. Okay, in a very common, if I don't want to confuse you, it's just multiply with the numbers. Okay,
Exactly.
because it is required in the movement input, the function, right? Add movement input. The scale
So
value is very much required.
So what we are doing over here, as you can see, for moving forward, we are just simply adding those things, right, in a positive direction. And for the negative direction, we are just multiplying with the -1, right?
Hmm.
So in this same situation over here, to get the opposite of any direction, we can uh, multiply with the -1. We can multiply with the minus vector. So in this situation, the scale positive determine the forward direction, and the scale negative determine the I mean the opposite of that direction, right? So similarly, in the forward, the +1 represent the W, the forward direction, and the -1 determine the backward. Similarly, in the move right case, so in this scenario also, if you press D or something like that, it will get a value, and limit that with +1, so that if I press the D, then it move right, and if I press A, let me show you.
Hmm.
Move right. If I press A, it will be -1. Okay, so it will move left. So it's nothing. We can use this axis value to move our character. Uh, if I multiply, I mean, if I'm having a forward, I mean, if I'm having a positive value in the vector, so if you are and pressing W, then it will be adding. And if
Technically,
I'm
it will ease your implementation. Okay, directly. Instead of you doing it every time, the action map will do the same for you. Okay, because we just don't use the controls just one way. Okay, we used in a multiple areas inside the one project. So technically, it's easier work instead of manually doing every time.
Okay, so is it this way? Like, let's say I press W, it will have
Yeah,
a some value multiplied by whatever scale it is.
exactly. So
Okay.
suppose if the scale is 2 over there, it will double the value of it.
Okay. Hmm.
Okay, but
it
we safe side we don't do that. Okay,
Eh,
because we just want to play the value with whatever the variables we give.
Hmm.
you don't need any kind of, I mean, specific project and some kind of project, like if you are handling with some kind of input buffers that you have to handle in a minute part of that. I mean, if you are changing, you if you are checking the axis value. Okay, so if it determine the mine, if you, I mean, if you click on any key you are binded with, if you click on W, it will directly move the float value slowly. If you click W a little bit later, I mean, if you click W, so very lightly, it will react as it doesn't affect. I mean, it doesn't affect +1. If you simultaneously click on S button, the backward one, it will act as it is it the access value will be sum up with those values, and it will doesn't reflect back. I mean, if I let me show you.
Okay, so technically we are
Um,
talking about the spamming the buttons.
if I'm clicking directly W and S, if I'm clicking both the buttons simultaneously, it won't move because the value plus one plus
Minus.
minus one. It's one minus zero is equal to zero. So there is no scale value, right? So it's not adding up anywhere else. So I'm not moving anywhere else. So to handle those kind of situation, you can use axis values, right? So in a
Hmm.
layman term, I mean, axis mapping is, I mean, as a float that determines if you move forward or backward when you use the same axis mapping button, right? So I'm having a single mapping button, move forward. I'm having, I bind two buttons over here. One is W and S. W is for move forward, which one is +1, and S is -1 to move backward. So I'm getting and calling a function, which one is add movement input, right?
Hmm. Okay.
Give me 1 second.
So technically it also helps you to avoid the spamming thing, I guess.
Yeah, it's also help in spamming different buttons. If you get the different axis mapping buttons, and you can get the sum of all axis values, and you can use them as an input buffer kind of stuff. Input buffer, you might know, in fighting games you have to smash different button combination and use them for a specific combo attack or something like that. So there are quite, I mean, advanced levels things. So let discuss with the basic movement part from here, right? So what's happening over here is uh, we are getting for moving the character right. I mean, for moving the character forward or backward, we're just getting the control rotation. Control rotation is nothing but the main controller. It is inherited from a pawn class, this function. We can get the control, I mean the rotation of the actor specific character from any direction. So what we are doing over here is we are just taking the your value, because we doesn't need any of this value in the keyboard one. So we just need the your value, and then we are getting the forward vector. Or you guys know for what is forward vector, right? Hello.
Matlab input in the forward axis, na?
Exactly. We are getting the forward vector over here, and then that forward vector will be the world direction, the direction that we are facing from that moving direction, the phase. Okay. And then similarly, we can get the right vector, and then we can simply align with that another input mapping to move left and right. And from the scale value, we are just binding them. W for move forward, and minus will negate the vector. Okay, it will multiply and it will negate the vector, so we can move backward. Similarly for the right one, for the plus one, it will add as a scale of multiplication of 1. It will move forward, I mean move right, and it will negate if the scale is -1. So you can now use and bind your character. Okay, you can bind your character with this. Let us create one. Okay, let me show you.
Yeah, Darshan, let's create the C++, man. Come on.
C++
It's a C++
is fine,
class, man. It's a C++
but
class.
but if they don't understand the basic logic, they don't they can't implement in the C++, right? They have to understand
Mm,
the basic logic what happening.
mm, yeah, makes sense.
So in same thing we have to deal in the C++ as well. We have to get the control rotation and find the forward vector and the right vector, and then we have to add input. Okay, so we will be creating all these things. We will be adding all this component also in from the C++ class as well. You, as you can see, there is a character component, there is a capsule component in the viewport. Okay, there is a mesh. Okay, for now we will be not using any skeletal mesh, we will be using a static mesh for I mean for basic understanding. Then we can use a skeletal mesh, and then we can create any animation for it, animation blueprint and all. We will understand all those things. Then we will be inheriting all those things from the blue from the C++ one, and then uh, we can, after creating all those things, we can implement all the script in C++. Okay, let's start with the C++ one. Let's create a new class. So we
Uh,
can,
everyone is following it? Raise your hands if you're following it. Just that's it. Cool, cool.
let's click on select
The-
this one, and this one you can name it anything you want. My first character. Create class. So we can reload our class. So as you can see, there are different components in here in the character class, such as camera, a spring arm over here. There is a spring arm. This one is a spring arm. The length you can determine. It can help us to attach the camera with the character. So we are having a spring arm, and in the spring arm we have a character. We have a camera. That camera is going to follow our character, and we can see through the camera. We can control the character over here. So the basic structure is somewhere like that. We are having a root component. In that component we are having a capsule component, and we have some character structure. If we create a new character class, you will find all those similar things in the C++ as well. So we have to set up our header file for now. So after creating our first character, you will find there are some extra functions that is overridden over here. You can find there is one extra function is, well, setup layer input component. So what does so it will help us to bind the input. Similarly, as similar as in the blueprint class, we are just calling those input actions from here, such as there is a jump, you can use there is a move forward one, so you can call those function over here. So similarly, we have to bind, call those, uh, we have to create all those functions or implementable event, and then we have to bind uh, all those script to our character, so that we can move our character accordingly. We can move, add action mapping as well, so we can control from here. So this component help us to control our character. Okay, so you can see there are somehow similar to our previous I mean actor class. We have somehow same thing over here. There is a constructor, there is a begin play, and there is a tick function also. Similarly, we have all those functions over here, but one extra thing over here is player setup player input component. So first of all, we have to let's learn how to add component. How to add. So in our actor one, we have created this one as a blueprint, and then we add component as a static mesh component. Now we will be learning, rather than clicking and adding in the blueprint, how we can create all those things and how we can add component in our C++ classes as well, right? Okay, so let's find out. Here is our my first class CPP as well. So we are gonna use this two scripts. So let's start with our header one. So what does we need? So we can see that we need two components. One is a spring arm, and another one is a camera that is attached to the character class. So we can use that camera to see through the character and control it as a follow camera. So we are going to inherit, or we are going to add those camera string and camera in our C++ class, right? Are you guys getting my point? Hello, guys.
Yeah, like you said, like first we will go for the movement, right? Or like for the
Yes.
camera.
I mean, I'm adding the components, right? I'm just starting from the component. I have to add component, then we can start scripting on all those things. So we can control that with the camera. If you don't have any kind of camera or follow camera, then we don't have any follow camera. So you can use on that app also, but I will be showing you directly from how to add components. That will be easy for you guys. So you can add components. You have to add different components. Something like you can add a static mesh component from your C++ class as well. But in the previous session, we have learned that we have to create a blueprint class. If you directly drop your actor class, you don't have any component over here, right? There is a simple actor over here. So we will be learning how to add component. Okay, so we will be learning how to add component from a C++ class, so we can easily manipulate those things. We can get the reference from the component, because all these component are going to be used in our C++ class, right? We have to use the character movement component so that we can move our character. Okay, this component is inherited from the a component class that is present in the Unreal Engine framework. So we have to add those components so that we can move our character. We can use those pre-made functions actually. Okay, so let's first learn how to add those component in our C++ class. So for that, okay, so camera and spring arm. Let's start with the camera and spring arm, or you can start with the static mesh or skeletal mesh. So for this, we will be starting mesh as a controllable character. We will use a cube to control that character, right? So for that, we can use a static mesh component. So you can we can add those three component in our character class so that we can get the reference of those thing and we can implement those thing in our C++ class. So let's start with the header file. Okay, so let's if you guys run on every frame, you want to be on a safer side, you can set it to false if you're not using for this one, and whenever you are using, then you can turn it to true. So this is the bool for we can tick true. Okay, you can set it to true or false if we are using tick, so that you can set it to true, or else we can set it to false to save some performance. Okay, so let's start with our first component. Let's start with a camera spring component. Let's add as camera spring component in our C++ class. So for that, we can see that camera component anywhere. So we have to tag it uProperty and visible anywhere, and we can access that thing in our blueprint. Might be needed in blueprint, so we can set it to blueprint read only, right? And again, we can set the category, so we can set it to camera. Okay, let's set it to camera. Remove minimal. So we will be accessing a class that is already created in C++. Okay, that is created by Unreal Engine. So in the framework, we have to find the camera component. So we have to access this spring arm component. So to access this spring arm component, the name of the class is spring arm component. Okay, there are different components you can see. For the classes, Unreal uses u as a prefix. Okay, so use spring arm component, and then we have to use the reference. For the reference, we have to use a pointer. Is anybody familiar with the pointer? What does the pointer do?
That was my most hated question for me earlier.
Allocating memory mostly pointed as is the like data stored in the memory by giving the address.
Great, great, great.
Very good, very good. It took me some much time in my real life.
So guys, this one is a class, so we have to define this one. You can use and take a pointer and name it anything we want. Let's save it as spring arm comp. Okay. So one thing you guys can notice, our spring arm is going to use in many scenarios. Okay, we have to use all those things in different protected private section and the C++ as well. So better we can take the reference in the header itself. Okay, so you can just simply copy, and we can just simply take the reference over here. So we don't need to define repeatedly. Let's we spring arm component over here, and then we have to take another component as a reference. Which one is the camera, right? So we can take the reference of camera as well. Last, the camera is u camera component. And then we can take another class reference. Which one is class u static mass component, right? Okay, so as you can see, I'm having a generated body error. So I have to try to build this one. If it is not compiling successfully, I've just taken the class in the header component. Now I will be uh, taking all those component in our and using them in our script continuously. So I have taken those class in the header component, and I will take the references directly from here. I'm just building this one. Let's build our project. If it's successfully compiled, then great. If not, then we have to follow the instruction that I've already told you. We have successfully compiled our project. That's great. But we are having this error, so it might create some issues later. Okay, let's see. We can directly start with our code now. So we can search for u static, or you use, let's start with the string arm component. Then we'll take a pointer and name it string arm component. Okay, so if taken the reference and store it as spring arm component. Similarly, we'll be dealing with other components as well. Let's see for camera. Let's start typing u camera component, and then pointer reference. We'll be taking the reference and storing it as camera pump. And then for the last one, let's take reference our static mesh component, and let's name the category as player mesh. Okay. And then we can take the reference of static mass component, u static mass component, the reference and storage at mass component. Okay. So now we have all these three components over here. Now we have to build this one and let's check if it is reflecting in our editor or not. Are you guys following me? You can see there is an error, the spring arm component over here. This might be because of I have to define the class. Let's start with the previous one thing. We have to follow those thing again.
Which things?
Follow the procedure. If you are getting any errors from the generated body or any class error, so you have to try once with the deleting with the intermediate files and all those things. I'll be sharing. I didn't say right.
Okay.
So I have told you to delete all
But
those things. Generate Visual Studio files. One thing. Let me delete all those things first. Visual Studio binaries, derived data case, intermediate, and saved. Is anybody following up?
I think everybody is sleepy.
I also got the error.
Are you getting the error?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool, I think you are following the correct thing. Okay, let's see if this solves the error or not. And yeah, guys, I think it's more than 3 o'clock. Let's continue until we have some visuals. Okay, then I think we'll stop it on spot. Okay, sorry for the delay. Anyway, the classes started 10 minutes late. But yeah, I think we have less time as well. So you guys don't have any class today, right?
No, we don't have any.
Okay, cool, cool. And everyone had their lunch so that I'm not disturbing any lunch times. Hopefully. So by this time, anybody following FIFA? No football fans?
Let's open my character
I think
stream.
everyone is into development so that nobody watching FIFA. Oh man, that's bad.
No, there are people. They're not speaking right now.
They're like कि बाद में बताते हैं. Or they slept with the class. Either of
That
them.
might be the case. Yeah.
It's taking a while to load. You have to wait for the IntelliSense to complete its references.
So you made this on the constructor, right?
Yes.
Like the properties and all. Okay.
Which one?
The components, they're all on the constructor, right?
Uh, these are not in constructor yet. We have to construct all those things. These are on
No,
the
no, I'm talking about from line number 23 to line number 30. They are inside the constructor or like.
they are not there. They are. We have just created the. I mean, just getting the references. Okay, we are just getting the references. So we will be constructing those things in C++. We will be adding those things in the C++ to be visible in the editor one. Now we can see all those component after building, but we
No,
can't.
my
Yeah.
question is, you can see the line number 21, right? Says A, my first character. So,
Yes.
so
This one is
after that,
constructor.
yeah. So it is closed, right? Or like, I don't understand this kind of stuff, like in how C++
So
is.
how those things are work in the C++ part is that you have to define all those things and you have to construct all the things in the C++ part. You don't have to construct things in the header file. You can simply, if my first character, this one is a constructor, so you can write down any construction script here. You can see a primary component is in the constructor, right? So you
Okay.
can set it true or false. It will be start before on the construction. So it will set the tick to true or false. Then it will execute all those commands.
Okay.
You can set anything in the constructor from here. This is the constructor in the C++ section. Not including generated one. It's let's let's directly give them the references for now. It is taking a while to resolving all those italicens. It's throwing an exceptional error over here. Anyone is facing over here? To type must be u class or u struct or u enum over here. Anyone?
I think if you're the facing, everyone should face the same thing.
No.
For me, it's still now like cannot open including file character. The correct file
Show me.
name generated.h.
Show me. Can you show me?
Yeah, I can.
Expected pointer type. It's here.
This one.
1 second. Show me. Yeah.
This is
One
what I'm
second.
getting. When I try to build the like open this SLN file, solution file, and then doing this setup and then control F5, it's just saying me this. So is it like I was facing that issue, then again I tried.
So I can only see the folder over here. You can see the I can't see the complete Visual Studio. It's only visible the for File Explorer only.
Oh yeah,
File
Visual
Explorer.
Studios. Yeah,
Wait.
I think you shared. Yeah, now I think you have two screens.
Yeah, 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 that's why I was
Ah,
looking which
I
screen I was.
miss it, man. I miss it.
Yeah. Yeah, even if I build it and then I said Control F5 and did, this was the error that I got. Then I tried to open it without using that, and like try to open the test, then it shows you have to build it manually.
Oh yeah, so open your player character header file from the source one.
Yeah, yeah, I can. That's it.
Okay, so it has taken. It's an okay. Comment out all those things again. Not the include one. It's not generated yet. We have started the class scripting directly, so it's causing problem. So comment out all those classes that we have created.
This one?
Uh,
Wait, I'll just share the other one. Actually, screen. This one here. This one's perfect. Yeah,
you comment all those things out,
yeah. I commented those.
and
Then,
those we are not having any references now, so you can comment all those things.
hmm.
Comment the last one also. Yeah, now you have to again generate the body, so you have to again delete all those things. So just turn it off, turn the Visual Studio off, again generate the Visual Studio file.
No.
Saved as well, you have to click on save. Save, delete, generate Visual Studio files.
Wait. This one.
My build was successful. Like after creating all the components, it was successful. No?
Nice. It's a bug
Okay,
from.
that is weird. Local bug.
Yeah.
So Anirban is better than Darshan now, or
Whenever
the system is better.
no, it's not about system. Whenever you create a new class in C++ class, you have to face this kind of issues. Any new class.
I think I ditched the development and I did a good job on that.
Lucky.
So, it is a startup project, and you can build. Okay, nice. Wait,
Take
Darshan,
my.
is your thing resolved? Darshan?
let me check mine.
Yeah. You can also build at background. Check it out.
Yes,
I hope guys getting late is not a issue for everyone.
Nope,
It's
we don't
being
have any
little
class.
late.
It's okay for me, at least I can say.
Yeah. Let's see. So okay, I think Anirban is done with this thing. If Darshan you're not able to resolve, I think we have to use Anirban's system.
no issues.
We'll guide him on spot now.
Yeah, it was built now. Like then I have to just uncomment everything that I commented, right?
Yes. Then build
Okay.
again. Build again. So my project got successfully compiled. Let me share my screen. Check with the class names, guys. It must be you Spring Arm component, you camera component. If you guys are facing any issues or something like that, and try to rebuild. If you get any kind of errors, then check with the name first. You Spring Arm component, you camera component, you static component. Then get the references all those from all those classes. Spring Arm component, camera component, and mesh component. Then try to build.
Is this the optimal way? Why are you getting that error in line number 19?
Line number 19, right? This one is this is the same. I mean uh, this is because from the IntelliSense is not detecting any kind of references from this class. So
Acha,
I have
the black null.
to
Okay.
delete and regenerate again.
Okay.
But it is successfully built, compiled. So not an issue. But I will suggest you to go through all the steps. If you get
Bad.
those
No
kind of
problem.
Italian red
Uh,
squiggle.
nope, it did not.
Didn't Can you show me your screen again?
That's so bad, guys. Like seeing the
In
error and still we are working. That's so weird.
Can you show me?
Exactly. It
yeah,
is weird.
I think now it's time to welcome Unreal.
Okay,
control
so
deleted. Yeah.
it is
Same
looking at
problem.
UNM. Okay, you set as component NENT. Check the spelling over there. Set to the name. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
From
spelling.
Wow, Akash.
and from the class, from the whole class component. Class. Take the references component.
Akash, you
Then
deleted the pointer sign.
you deleted the pointer. You have to take the reference. Then you have to compile. Now you can control F5.
I was fighting with Unreal till then.
Just uh, remove the Unreal editor from the background and compile it again and run it from the Visual Studio.
I think everyone is
Now,
fighting with Unreal.
yeah, what do I have to write here? Like the pointer system that you said?
No,
What was it?
nothing.
Oh,
This.
nothing, right? Control D. Now it's done.
Correct.
And control.
Successfully. I think. I hope everyone is on the same page. I hope that.
I can see Bunty is not doing.
Yeah, man. One pager is the most difficult thing to do. You know that, right?
Ante is going to stream all the things that I've learned today. You have to show the actor part as well.
No, no, no. Thank you.
Move
I'm
I
good.
think. I think by the time that happens, Banti is leaving. Chalo darshan. We'll see.
So now you can drag and drop your C++ class in the scene as well. Try to drag and drop in the scene. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
You have to make the blueprint first, right? The blueprint.
Yeah, we have to make the blueprint, but I didn't add in any component, so you can find those things in the component in the blueprint one. So I will show you how to add component. We have just created a reference for now. So I will just take another 2 to 3 minutes to create some other header file as well, such as like move right, move forward, those functions. We have to create those functions, right, to move our character as well. So let's finish the header one today and then start scripting from the next class. right?
Okay. Akash, I think you are streaming, right?
Akash became a
Uh,
teacher now.
Yeah,
is my
that's
screen
kind of
visible right
interesting.
now? Yes. Is it visible right now?
Yeah, yeah.
So we have created these three. We have taken those three references to use in our scene. To use this in our character class. Now we have to create, or we can use simply this protected section to create our own functions. Right. So what are those functions? So if we move on this class and check, let's first create an input axis, which one is move forward. Okay, let's create that one. So for that, we can create for functions. Let's start with void and move forward, and then it is taking an input value, which one is it is axis values, right? So let's uh, give give this function a float value and name it as value, right? And then we have to create other functions as well for the move right as well. And we have to pass the float value for this move right. Okay, and then we have to create another class, another function, which one is turn at rate. This one is used for turning the mouse. Let me show you in the blueprint. And another one is this turn rate, and another one is look up rate. Turn rate and look up rate. And again, it is taking an input value of float. So now we have to define all this function in our C++, or else we will be getting an simply click on this icon. Will be find this icon left side, create on this and create definition for move forward. And now we can find we have created a function for move forward, right? If you move to our C++ class, you can find is we find move forward function that is implemented over here. So we can, to make it more clean, let's move it down and name it move forward and backward.
So why are you using the scope operator?
I'm not using the scope operator. It's because it
Am I
already. Uh-huh. It's just, yes, for the scope operator. I've already told you that we have to get the function from the class, and we are implementing those things. So this is also a class, right? We are getting those function, and using the scope operator, we are getting the function move forward, and then I'm implementing the that function in this script. I can use in the parent in this parenthesis. I can script accordingly to invoke this function, the basic workflow. I can script anything I want in here so that I can script it. For the move forward, I have to bind all those things. I have to script, get the control rotation, and add input value, right? Similarly, for the move right, I have to create those functions. Let me create those functions as well. So I've created the move forward. So I think there is no squiggles over here. if you have to create, you can find different move right have a squiddle of green color. You can create for those functions as well, and you can see squiddle will be moved. So this one is for move right, move
That's
right.
like dot HP and dot CPP file. Like, what is the like? Why we define here the all the signatures and do all the coding in CPP file? Like, what is
So
that
this is
particular?
a basic workflow of, I mean, C++ projects. So
Okay.
if, when we are working on a framework, we have to declare, I mean, we have to define all those things, all the variables, all the functions in the header, and we have to script anything we want from that variable, anything we want in that class in the CPP file. So header is nothing but, in the in the first class I've explained you that, in if you compare it with this one in the blueprint one, if you create any variable or any function, okay, any function, something like move right, okay, so in the event graph, assume that this one is a C++ file and this one is a header file. Okay, so you have to call those things in the CPP or in the similarly in the blueprint graph to use them, to implement them. So this is a basic workflow of Unreal Engine. Okay, so if I created a boolean, let's assume I've created a boolean in the header file. So this one is nothing but this one is the header, and if I have to implement this boolean after this forward, so I have to call this thing in the graph. So graph is nothing but the CPP file. Okay, I'm getting my point. So I have to implement anything I have to implement in the script, anything I have to implement in the game environment. So I have to implement those things in the C++ file, and I have to define those things if you define those things in the header to use them in CPP file. So this is a basic workflow of the Unreal Engine.
Okay.
So anything, any function you are going to create, first you have to define those functions in the header file. Then you have to implement those things in the CPP file. Okay, so I have created all those functions and implemented, defined them in the CPP one. So now in the next class we will learn how to implement those and how to script and how we can move our character. So this one is turn rate for mouse. Again, this one is for look up rate for mouse.
So as you said previously, the character class is inheriting from the pawn class, right?
Exactly. And the
So
pawn is inheriting
yeah,
from, come on.
yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is like in Unity, we can like have make our own inheritance structure, like make a abstract class or interface, and then inherit few of the members, then make in a second
Exactly.
inheritance. But can we
Yes.
do it here on Unreal, like making our own
Yes.
inheritance?
Yes, you can do that. You can create new class and you can start with the none class.
Okay, acha,
Okay.
9 plus. Fine.
You can start with the none class. So you can create your own classes over here. Okay. And you can use, we will be learning different scenarios you can use for structures, enums or anything else. You can use a general class from here. You can create your own class and you can use it. Okay. So this is the base. Any Unreal object, everything is defined from an Unreal object, U object. Okay. So all those things are defined from U objects, and then it is distributed on different segments, such as actors, and for control level, the characters such as pawn, character, and player controller. So these things are all from a U object, which is the base class of Unreal. So if I'm going to drop over here, if I'm inherit all those capsule component, and this arrow is visible over here because I'm inheriting this class from a character class, and character class, let me open the character class, and the character class has all these components. You can see the capsule component, character movement component, pawn movement component, all those things are inherited, and these are showing that this is inherited from the character class. You can see this is inherited. So whenever we create a class, you can find that there is some pre-made script, pre-made component are already present in this class. So in case of this class, let me open my first class, which is this one is our character, right? So in this, we have created some components as of now. In the camera section, you can find spring arm component, camera component. We will be binding all those things in our next class. We'll be binding the camera because in the character class there is no camera. There you can see it is not inherited. So we have to create one for our class as well. In the blueprint class that is inherited from the character, you can see capsule component and this one arrow for the direction, forward direction, and the mesh, skeletal mesh. It is inherited. It is inherited from the character class, but not the camera. So we have to create we have to add our component in our custom classes as well. So we have to add those components, right? You can use character class for AIs as well. So there is so they didn't redefine camera component in this class. We have to create one. So in this case, we are creating one, and we will be adding it in our component section. If you find, let me create and show you. If I'm creating one class, you can see I have all this component over here inherited from the parent class of character. I have the first person character, which one is a C++ character class, and those that character class is inherited from the base class of character, and though that class having all these components similarly like our character class, similarly in the blueprint class. So now we have created the components, but we didn't created our didn't add the components as like in the they have added the cameras, spring arm and camera, and we are going to use a static mesh. So we have to add those component from C++, or else we can directly add the spring component from here also, spring arm. But I am showing you how to build those things in the C++ as well to learn in a better way. Are you getting my point?
Yeah, there was one more question. Like when we use the script, we write it for other stuff. We write F vector and we don't write star. Like, what is the use of the star here? Like, what is it
I
doing?
didn't get
Use spring
It's a
component,
pointer.
we get star, then spring on comp. We make that type of variable in the
It's a
script.
pointer, nah. That's why.
this is a pointer. The pointer is used to taking the references of that specific class. Okay. In C++, we have to take the references by using this star symbol. Okay. This is a pointer. So in the vector, you didn't. You are telling me that you didn't have to create any
Yeah, I don't
specific
have to write star there.
references. It's all because it is a structure. It is created from a structure. You can access all those structure from any classes. Okay. So for I mean, if you are using this specific class and you want to use those components in our specific class, so you have to take references. In near future, we will be using all those things. Let me show you that this is a spring arm component. This is a camera component, right? We'll be making a health component. That component will be responsible to handle our health and other damage component as well. That will be responsible for that damage causing to our character. So we'll be taking all those references so that we can easily access those character and those components functions as well. So we have to take references. Okay.
Can't I write use spring component scope operator use spring that component that way?
You mean you have directly want to take that thing from the C++ class, right?
हाँ.
It's not a proficient way actually. You have to take references once. You can't take directly or any in between any classes.
Oh,
In the C++ one, you have to be more formal way to handle those exceptions as well. So C++ causes various kind of memory leaks and all.
okay. Akash. Okay, just
Hmm.
a very quick question. Okay. So, do you know the use of pointers?
Nope, that's why I was very confused with.
Okay, so technically the pointers are something like a waiters in our restaurants. Okay, they just carry the datas and give it to you. Okay,
Okay.
If
the
you
point. Okay, so technically the pointers are in a very technical terms. Okay, if you want in a very technical terms, pointers are the variables which carries out the address of the particular object.
Yeah, I like the example one.
Okay, so see, pointers is very complicated topic anyways. Okay, first you the use of the pointer is to use the say you don't need to technically save multiple times and waste your memories. Okay, just just using the same thing again and again and again. Okay, for an example, I will say you one good example for that. Okay, suppose you're making a table of your college. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, so you are taking attendance of the whole class. So technically, you have class column, names column, and college columns. Correct?
Hmm.
So college name and the class name is going to be same for everyone.
Huh,
Correct?
that will be same. Huh.
Correct? It cannot be changed.
Hmm.
Okay, I am not. And first, this example is not related to gaming. It's related to understanding the pointers used. Okay.
Hmm.
So the names will be never be changing. Okay. So suppose you have 500 500 names of students, so you have to write 500 times of it. Correct?
Huh. I will just make one
Okay.
variable like you do. Huh.
Yes. So technically, you will create one variable and you will pass by reference. Okay.
Hmm.
So why if you take a address of that particular variable, okay. So you don't need to create the memory blocks for everything. ओके
Okay.
अगर मुझे आकाश टेक्निकली तेरे को अगर वो पर्टिकुलर वेरिएबल का नाम चाहिए तो तू सिर्फ उसका एड्रेस देगा वो एड्रेस से वैल्यू उठा लेगा ओके
Hmm.
so it will save your memory first it will save your a lot of memory you are not saving in multiple arenas and suppose you are changing your college name from SEAM education to XYZ education okay.
Hmm.
So you can just change the variable name at the place where you store. Okay. Then
We
with the
use it.
reference, everything is going to get changed.
Hmm.
Okay. So the pointers use is nothing but carrying the addresses and using it according to your wish. Okay. So from the pointer, you can get the value, you can get the address, and you can get the pointer's address as well. Because pointer is also variable. Correct. But it
Hmm.
stores the address of the any other object. Okay.
थोड़ा बहुत समझ में आया बट मेरे को लगता है मेरे को एक बार देखना ही पड़ेगा कहीं पे.
नहीं देखो आकाश मैं आपको बहुत सिंपल वे में बताता हूँ ठीक है आपको आप रेस्टोरेंट में खाना लेने जाते हो करेक्ट
हाँ.
ठीक है तो खाना बनाता कौन है
शेफ.
शेफ खाना खाता कौन है
मैं.
ठीक है तो तो शेफ तेरे को डायरेक्ट आके देता है
नहीं, बीच में एक बंदा होगा ही जो मेरे को या तो
ठीक है
लाके
एक
देगा
बंदा
या. हाँ.
नहीं तो तेरे को जाके लेना होगा नहीं तो वेटर आके देगा
हाँ.
नहीं तो कभी कभी शेफ भी आ जाता है पर वो उसका काम बहुत बिजी है यार बहुत बिजी रेस्टोरेंट है वो
हम्म.
ठीक है तो वेटर जो काम करता है ना वो क्या करता है एक जगह से चीज लेता है दूसरी जगह सिर्फ दे देता है
हाँ.
उसका उसका काम सिर्फ उतना ही है करेक्ट
हम्म.
तो पॉइंटर्स का भी काम उतना ही है वो एड्रेस लेगा और तुम्हें दे देगा अब तुम्हें उसके साथ क्या करना है वो तुम्हारी तुम्हारी मर्जी
ओके, ठीक है।
अंडरस्टूड?
हाँ।
ये बस हम लोग एक ही बार कर रहे हैं, हम लोग को जरूरत नहीं है, हम लोग को पता चला कि वी नीड दोज कंपोनेंट्स, हमको कैमरा चाहिए, स्प्रिंग आर्म चाहिए, वी नीड ऑल दोज कंपोनेंट, we don't have to continuously write the script and get those reference as well. So the best and optimal way is to we can create a pointer reference and store that variable values and all those classes values in a specific stored variable. So it's way more optimal. Okay, so whenever we need, we can get those references, we can call spring arm component, we can get inside from this variable, we can get inside this class, and we can use those functions that is created in this class as well. So it's very much optimal way we can
No, Darshan, actually he's most confused about the pointers used instead of using anyway. Okay, तो उसको pointer का मतलब ही नहीं पता है.
pointer is
ठीक है.
nothing, pointer एक address ही है, you can say that this is an address, this is storing the address of this class in this
अरे
variable.
देखो आकाश, आप मेरी बात समझ गए ना?
हाँ, मैं आपका समझ गया। बेसिकली वो
ठीक है,
एड्रेस।
बस वही है, टेक्निकली वही है, ये टेक्निकल टर्म्स हो जाते हैं. ठीक है.
हाँ।
ठीक है, तो आपका पॉइंटर्स का सिर्फ एक ही काम है, ठीक है, कि वो तुम्हें एड्रेस लाके दे देगा. दैट्स इट. डोंट गेट कंफ्यूज, बिकॉज आई नो अभी तो पॉइंटर्स के साथ मैं खेलना भी शुरू नहीं किया हूँ. ठीक है, कॉल बाय रेफरेंस एंड कॉल बाय वैल्यू इज द मोस्ट कंफ्यूजिंग टॉपिक्स इन द होल C++.
ओके।
ठीक है,
So,
बट
you guys are not familiar with C and C++. Are you, or you are completely new to C++?
C++ नहीं है, रेयरली यूज। अभी मैं खुद से कोर्स डाउनलोड करके देख रहा है, वैसा होता है। तो अभी तक
Okay.
इस पॉइंट पे
Yeah,
पहुंचे नहीं।
this one is the base things that we have to learn on C++. The pointer are the main sources. So these are
Akash,
quite different from other programming languages. C# doesn't have all these things.
It
You can
doesn't
find all
mean
this. Yeah, you can find these things in the pointer references and the scope operators, all these things in the C and C++ only.
नहीं, only C++. I think even C doesn't have pointers.
C have pointers.
Yeah, C have pointer. Oh, yeah, inheritance is not there. Yeah, over there. Correct.
C++ support inheritance.
Yes. Yeah, that's where C is advanced with C++. Yeah, so C++ is advanced from the C.
ओके।
Okay. तो आकाश, बिकॉज देखो पॉइंटर्स एंड इनहेरिटेंस में तो मैं आपको अभी कंफ्यूजन समझाया, मैं आपको अगर बताना शुरू करा ना तो आप कंफ्यूज हो जाओगे. ठीक है, तो उससे कंफ्यूज नहीं होते हैं. ठीक है, मैं अगर आपको चाहिए तो मुझे आप पर्सनली मैसेज करना, आई विल एक्सप्लेन यू द पॉइंटर्स इन अ वेरी गुड वे. ठीक है, ताकि यू एक्सेल इन दैट, बिकॉज मैंने वो स्पेसिफिकली, इट टुक मी ऑलमोस्ट 2 days टू अंडरस्टैंड इट, बट वंस आई अंडरस्टैंड इट इन अ डेप्थ मैनर. मैं आपको आसानी से बता सकता हूँ. इसलिए अब रियल लाइफ एग्जांपल में बोलोगे तो वेटर से ज्यादा का काम नहीं है उसका. वो सिर्फ आपको वैल्यूज आके दे देता है, एड्रेस लाके दे देता है.
वो अगर सेंस में, तब तो ये पूरा मेरे को ये वाला पार्ट थोड़ा समझ में आ चुका है।
हाँ, तो बस वही चीज हो रही है. ठीक है, आप इमेजिन कर लो, पॉइंटर्स आर नथिंग बट द गूगल मैप्स. ही इज जस्ट पॉइंटिंग द डायरेक्शंस टुवर्ड्स इट. ठीक है, करना तो आपको ही है.
चलना तो आपको।
हम लोग अगर दूसरे एक्टर में, अगर हम लोग अपने जो एक्टर बनाया है, हमारा जो एक्टर है जो हम लोग ने बनाया है प्रीवियसली, हम लोग को हमारे एक्टर में भी रेफरेंस चाहिए हमारे ये क्लास का, ये कैरेक्टर क्लास जो हम लोग ने बनाया है. सो वी कैन यूज दिस थिंग. ओके, we can use the pointer reference and we can store the reference over there, and we can use those class variables, such as if you are using move right or move left, or we have created a jump variable. If I am jumping, the platform will be moving up or something like that. We can get reference. This is nothing but we have to take the the pointer doing that is that taking the references from a specific address from a specific class, and it is storing it in a specific variable. It store it in a variable. This is the address of the class, nothing else.
ओके।
आकाश, आप मुझे पर्सनली मैसेज करना, मैं आपको पॉइंटर समझा दूंगा. डोंट वरी.
कोई इशू?
डोंट वरी अबाउट इट, इट्स फाइन. इट्स नॉट दैट स्केरी टॉपिक एज वेल.
अब पॉइंटर बहुत डिटेल हम लोग कंटिन्यूअसली इसे यूज करने वाले हैं. सो स्कोप ऑपरेटर, पॉइंटर्स ये सारे चीजें हम लोग अभी कंटिन्यूअसली यूज करेंगे।
देखो पॉइंटर्स से दो तीन उसके एडवांटेजेस हैं पॉइंटर्स को यूज करने के। ठीक है, आपको मल्टीपल लोकेशंस में आपके रेफरेंसेस नहीं जाएंगे। ठीक है, अगर आप पॉइंट
तो बनाने पड़ेंगे वहाँ पे वैसे।
हाँ, तो टेक्निकली बोलते हैं ना, अगर आप हर जगह एक नया चीज बनाओगे ना, तो जब आप रेफरेंस करोगे वो कंफ्यूज हो जाएगा कि क्या चीज रेफर होनी चाहिए।
ओके।
ठीक है, तो बीइंग वेरी क्लियर, आपके पॉइंटर्स क्या करते हैं, वो सिर्फ वैल्यू को बनाते ही नहीं है, वो कुछ स्टोरी नहीं करते, वो सिर्फ एड्रेस लेते हैं। तो इससे कंफ्यूजन हट जाती है कि कौन सा वाला करना चाहिए। बिकॉज आकाश के, अगर मुझे आकाश के घर जाना है तो मुझे आकाश के एड्रेस चाहिए ना।
हाँ।
मैं अनिर्बन का एड्रेस तो लेके मैं कुछ नहीं कर पाऊंगा। करेक्ट, तो इट इट इज समथिंग लाइक दैट। ठीक है, और जब भी आप मेमोरी के साथ खेलते हो ना, आपको इसमें मेमोरी ऑप्टिमाइजेशन भी, पॉइंटर्स इज अ वेरी गुड सोर्स ऑफ मेमोरी ऑप्टिमाइजेशन।
ओके।
ठीक है, आपको मेमोरीज अगर बचानी होती है, तो टेक्निकली बोलते हैं ना, दो काइंड ऑफ कोडर्स होते हैं। एक होते हैं जो एफिशिएंट करते हैं कोडिंग, एक होते हैं जो सिर्फ कोडिंग करते हैं। करेक्ट, तो एफिशिएंट कोडर्स पॉइंटर्स यूज करते हैं। ये एक मीम भी बना है इसका, आई विल शेयर विद यू गाइस। ठीक है,
डिसएडवांटेज भी तो है ना मेमोरी लीक का, अगर मैं
एग्जैक्टली तो
हाँ
पॉइंटर्स क्या है कि बहुत सारी चीजें बचा लेते हैं, मेमोरी लीक से बचाते हैं आपकी मेमोरीज। आपकी जो फिजिकल स्टोरेज है, पहले जमाने में फिजिकल स्टोरेज बहुत अहमियत थी, याद है? 8 MB का साला हमें हमें 100-200 रुपए देने पड़ते थे 8 MB के लिए। एक जमाना था, वो भी 1000 रुपए यार। आई थिंक मेरा एक पेन ड्राइव आया था 8 MB का, दैट वाज कॉस्टिंग 1000 रुपीज, वेरी अर्ली डेज। तो स्टोरेज बचाने के लिए भी पॉइंटर्स यूज किया जाता था बार बार। अब तो स्टोरेज की टेंशन नहीं है, बट पॉइंटर्स इज अ गुड प्रैक्टिस बिकॉज वो काफी और चीज से बचाता है।
तो अगर उसका वही काम है तो मैं इसको कोई भी डेटा टाइप के साथ भी यूज कर सकता है क्या, जस्ट इन केस?
सी, आप जब डाटा स्ट्रक्चर यूज करते हो ना, ठीक है, उसके अंदर आप जो वेरिएबल्स कैप्चर करते हो वो पॉइंटर्स के साथ ही आप कैप्चर करते हो। अगर आपने डाटा स्ट्रक्चर्स पढ़ा है आप लोगों को?
हाँ पढ़ा है वो तो। नहीं, मैं डेटा
हाँ,
स्ट्रक्चर नहीं, डेटा टाइप बोला, जैसे फैक्टर यूज किए। अगर मेरे को ऑप्टिमाइज करना है मेमोरी, जैसे हेल्थ वाला है, तो मैं उधर वो फ्लोट स्टार हेल्थ लिखेगा तो वो भी होगा ना यार, मैं कर सकता
नहीं,
है?
आपको एक बेस वैल्यू तो बनानी पड़ेगी। ठीक है, उसके बाद आप उसका रेफरेंस ले सकते हो।
हाँ।
समझे? टेक्निकली आपने एक बार क्रिएट कर लिया, आपने अपना घर बना लिया, उसके बाद सब आपको सबको एड्रेस देना है। एड्रेस देने के लिए आप पॉइंटर्स यूज कर सकते हो। पॉइंटर्स आर द एड्रेस कैरिंग डिवाइस। वो वेटर है, वो सिर्फ एड्रेस कैरी करता है।
ओके।
ठीक है, cool. So I think today is it, guys. I think we are 1 hour late. Congratulations for that. Oh, nice. Darshan, you want to add anything else apart from whatever I did?
No, nothing else. I think we are done. Yeah.
Okay.
So did you get the basic idea of pointer, right, guys?
मेरे को
I
तो
think
मिल
it's
गया।
okay, everyone. Just say if you're following it up. Just raise your hands. Then we'll wrap up this session. I don't want to waste your time anymore.
except one.
Or you can unmute and shout. Yeah, we got it. Anything is fine.
Yeah, someone is asking something. Come on.
No, no, no. He's just raising hands that I understood everything.
Okay.
I hope so.
हम लोग का 3 क्लासेस लेफ्ट है ना?
I think
Yes. Arnab, yes, we have a class on Saturday as well.
ओ सैटरडे को भी होता है।
हाँ, सैटरडे को है। ठीक है, तो हम लोग का ग्रुप में भी बता दिया गया था मानवर ने, तो वी हैव अ क्लास ऑन सैटरडेज, तो नो वरीज।
तो ये पूरा कैरेक्टर कंट्रोलर बनने वाला है ना अपना?
यस, यस, यस। अभी तो कैरेक्टर बनना शुरू नहीं हुआ है।
we will be creating a control character controller. We will be controlling that character, and we will create a basic label uh, where
Okay.
there will be something like a or something like Fall Guys or something like that. We will be we have all those actors that we have created before. Okay, so
Animations.
we will be learning more about different actors as well, such as different volumes, how to trigger those volumes, and even some pickup as well to pick up such as for health or boost your speed, something like that. We can deal with that, and then we have to uh, you have to complete the level. We have to complete all the obstacles from that level, and the end we will be if you reach the end we will be completing that level and you won. So something some basic we will be creating a basic game for that.
So we will be creating basic Fall Guys.
Okay. UI भी तो
Okay.
फिर करना होगा ना?
No,
Not
we don't.
exactly, but yes, little bit.
Little bit.
We won't be covering the everything because हम लोग इसके बाद जब आप लोग के एग्जाम्स हो जाएंगे ना, we will continue your sessions. Okay, अभी हम लोग ने आपका जो कोर्स मॉड्यूल है उसमें से हम अभी 4 मॉड्यूल कराएंगे, बाकी 3-4 मॉड्यूल बाद में कराएंगे
Okay.
बिकॉज टाइम लगता है यार. It takes time to do it. Okay, but yeah, we will be some basic of UIs, not the extensive ways.
ठीक है.
Cool.
पर
Okay.
ये मतलब
I
हो
think
जाएगा
okay.
ना, लाइक एग्जाम के पहले इतना कुछ मैं सोच रहा हूँ वही कैरेक्टर
अरे
बनना है.
we
अरे
uh,
मतलब
even I don't want to rush, so I'm taking it as slowly as I can.
नहीं, देखो समझ में आ रहा है ना सबको. Everyone is
समझ
able
में
to
आ रहा
understand, right?
वो तो सब लोग बोल सकते हैं, मैं तो अपना बोल सकता हूँ.
हाँ तो नहीं, देखो सब अपना ही बोलो तो काम हो जाएगा.
कोई बोल ही नहीं रहा, कोई बोलता ही नहीं है.
नहीं, आपको समझ में आ रहा है ना, आप अपनी
हाँ
टेंशन लो ना.
हाँ, मेरे को
देखो
तो है,
सबको अपनी टेंशन लेनी है, खुद को पास होना जरूरी है.
वो तो है.
ठीक है. But yeah, we are trying to go as slow as possible. But if we go beyond this slow, I think we can't be able to do anything. Okay. But yeah, we will be finishing before the exams. Don't worry. I'm having a chat with Manohar and Chandan and Abed as well, so that we can get some more classes if we require it. So no worries about that.
Okay, that will be good. ठीक है.
Yeah, don't worry. And Aniban, I won't leave you in dark storm alone. We will be there with you.
भाई.
Okay,
Hello guys,
guys.
let's take a leave and yeah, let's catch up soon, guys.
Bye bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Take care, guys.
Bye bye.